Good morning. It's Jonathan Barrett with the on-the-go overnight market report or the morning debrief. Current time is 7:17 and it's the 11th of May 2011. Strong night last night in the equity markets. Quite a bit of news there in equities, and that certainly helped spur activity. Reasonably good earnings reports. Microsoft bought Skype, $8.5 billion. It's a huge number. I use Skype quite a bit, and I guess they're buying it on the back of potential there because of the users there. There are about 23 million people, so it's not too bad. Actually, call it down the bottom of Skype. A great product, but I think 8.5 billion is a little bit rich for it. Anyway, also, but comments from Bernanke I think were quite interesting. He says that we're starting to defeat the stimulus packages seem to work, and actually going to defeat any form of inflationary pressures. We're seeing a little bit of growth in terms of lending from banks and earnings. So that was actually quite an optimistic story by Bernanke, and I think that certainly encouraged some more buying in terms of the Dow. The Dow was closed up pretty positively. Let's just have a look at a few of the numbers. Just go there, just a quick overview. Dow was up 75, S&P was up 10, Nasdaq was up 28, the top 50 was up 36, the FTSE was up 76, CAC was up 45, and the DAX was up 91. Local market closed up 47. Remember, we did have our, there we go, move that out of the way. We did have our budget yesterday. Interesting, neither here nor there to tell you the truth, when I went through the numbers. I didn't think it was as tough as what they saw, just as robbing Peter to pay Paul. So relatively balanced in terms of that. Okay, let's have a quick look now at some of the currency markets. Dollar index 74.70. That was down 21 points. It's still buying time at this top end of the range. There's a chance of real recovery. Head and shoulders, call it what you want, but a little bit of, looks too bad. No, a little bit of divergence here, so perhaps this is a bit of a low before we shoot higher. This sort of thing is relatively constructive. This is a completion of a move, which is good, and maybe a little bit lower before having an assault to the top side. That would fit into our plans with what we're looking at. Aussie battler up the top end of the range, but when you have a look at it, still not 100% convincing yet as to what it wants to do. It could just be a correction of this move, but obviously a break through this trend here, but it's a rounded trend, so I don't think the market's going to focus too much on it. One thing we've got that dollar yen on, dollar yen position there, and I'd love to see a break through that top side there, 82, and then I could obviously see a move higher, correcting this downward spiral that we've had for some time. A little bit more constructive this, when you look at those sorts of things, different ball game. Okay, so that's some of the currencies. Let's have a look at gold. And gold, once again, similar to the Aussie in a funny way, but it's strong here. And not 100% sure that it's got that emphasis to really push through. We went long and we were out. We got out yesterday around about 15.10. Not unhappy with that result, and but still certainly volatile there. Silver seems to be one that seems to be really hot to trot. Had a very strong move over the last couple of days, and just like gold, it's sort of edging higher and higher. I don't like this form of divergence here, which gives me a bit of a worry. So we're out of the precious metal markets at the moment. Have a look at some of the other, in particular crude oil, edging higher. Obviously concerns on gasoline supplies as a result of what's happening in the Mississippi seems to keeping things on track. And but once again, I'm not convinced that that this rally has a lot of legs in it at the moment. But to me, the key is whether or not we're in a resumption of the trend upwards, i.e. a breakthrough 113.50, or whether we're just correcting the move from 113 down to 95. At the moment, I think we're just correcting. So we should see lower prices soon. But anyway, let's see what happens there. Copper, relatively strong night, but not showing too much. So neither here nor there in terms of what it wants to do. In my mind, I think the trend is pretty intact there for it to continue to trade lower. Having a look at some of these softs now, just quickly on corn and wheat. And when you look at the price action for corn, obviously we were down just a little bit last night, but as long as this stays intact down here, I'm quite comfortable with it. Wheat, similar style of story here, and when I look at the wheat chart, as everyone knows, I'm a perennial bull on it. We're just seeing a correction, but it does annoy me that we've failed up here again, but it just means that we head back down to that 780 level, so nothing too stressful there. Same with soya, a little bit of correction, but as long as we keep these lows down here, 13.15, then I've got to resume and make sure we're relatively positive. Okay, now in terms of economic numbers, which are due out, consumer price index in Germany. Remember this week we've got a lot of inflation data coming out. The crux will be what's happening in the US, so we'll stay close to that. Friday night CPI. CPI, wholesale, all that important out of Germany. UK, we've got Bank of England released quarterly inflation report. Let's see how that holds up. I do want to see the fact that inflation is coming in, but they do have a few concerns of their own. And we've got a lot of talking and in the States, plus MBA mortgage applications. So that's pretty much about it on that front. So I guess that's pretty much about it from me. What sort of trades are we looking at the moment? Dollar yen, we're still long. I'm still quite happy with that trade. I really want to see it push on through 81.20. Probably see that as an opportunity to add to a little bit of positions. Not convinced yet on buying crude, and I'm not yet convinced on continuing to buy on gold. We are out of both positions. Took some profits on it, quite happy there in the bank, but more often than not, I'm just sort of sitting back seeing what's going to happen. The key for me now is whether or not we're seeing a correction or whether or not we're seeing a continuation of the trend higher for both oil, copper and gold. So jury's out at the moment, but hopefully not for too long. Righty-ho. Well, that's it from me. I hope everyone has a great day. Good luck and happy trading.